The lingering aroma of burnt coffee mingled with the sound of hurried conversations inside the Brooklyn diner, where Olivia read balanced plates and cups with the dexterity of someone with no other choice. At 26, the waitress couldn't remember the last time she'd had a peaceful night's sleep. Between her shift at the cafe and the math lessons she gave at night, little energy remained, but all her tiredness was for the same reason: keeping her sister, Chloe, alive. Chloe, 5 years older, was tethered to a dialysis machine. The kidney transplant that would save her life cost more than Olivia could dream of saving. Still, she saved every penny, refusing to accept that it was impossible. That late morning, amidst a stack of orders and hushed laughter from customers, Olivia heard the voice of Mia, her best friend and colleague, approach. Mia was light, braiding her hair as if dancing, and always reminded Olivia that there were still reasons to smile. "You're carrying all of Brooklyn on your back, Olivia. When was the last time you slept?" Mia asked, leaning on the counter with a curious expression. Olivia replied with a faint smile, wiping her hands on her greasy apron. "Sleep has become a luxury item, Mia. But it's for Chloe, you know." Mia didn't insist. Instead, she took a cream-colored envelope with golden edges from her backpack. "Here, an invitation to the Blackwood Holdings charity gala. I can't Guy got accepted for an internship in Chicago and leave tomorrow, but you're going." Olivia widened her eyes, holding the envelope as if it burned. "Mia, stop. This isn't. For me, I don't even have an outfit, or shoes, or the courage to enter a place like that." Mia leaned closer, determined. "You always say, every penny helps Chloe. At this gala, people are swimming in money. What if you meet someone, a sponsor, a fund, who knows? It's your chance." Olivia hesitated. She thought of Chloe sleeping, connected to the machine. She thought of the medicines, of the electricity bill that was late every month. She touched the edge of the invitation. "All right, I'll go. But if I die of embarrassment, it's your fault." Mia chuckled and hugged her friend, bestowing upon her all the faith that Olivia no longer had. The next night, Olivia looked at herself in the cracked mirror of her tiny apartment bathroom in Bushwick. She saw reflected there not a young woman ready for a gala ball, but the same old waitress, hair hastily tied back, a navy blue dress borrowed from her sister, old loose at the waist, mended with safety pins. She didn't even have decent makeup. She had applied a leftover bit of Chloe's lipstick and dry mascara with each improvised detail. She felt the growing fear of being discovered, humiliated, expelled before she even tried. But every time she thought of giving up, she closed her eyes and saw Chloe laughing in the living room before she got sick. When life still seemed possible, it was thus, sustained by a breath of courage, that Olivia exited the subway in Manhattan and stood before the imposing facade of the Plaza Hotel. Limousines gleamed, expensive heels clicked on the marble. And there she was, cheap shoes, an invitation that didn't even bear her name, and a printed page, her only sheet of paper explaining Chloe's condition. Her passport to try and save her sister. She entered the lobby line, trying to ignore the curious glances. When her turn came, a cold receptionist in a black suit looked her up and down. "Name, madam?" the woman asked, her badge gleaming. "Brenda, Olivia Reed," she replied, her voice almost failing. Brenda typed something on her tablet, her eyebrows furrowed. "I'm sorry, I don't find your name on the list. The ticket is issued to a Mia Costa. It's non-transferable." Olivia tried to smile. "She's my friend. She couldn't come. She gave me the invitation. I just..." I just need to talk to someone, please. Brenda sighed, beckoning another employee with a gesture that implied it was all a nuisance. A large security guard approached, impassive. Behind her. A woman covered in jewels whispered to her husband, "Look at that. Crashing a millionaire's gala. She must think it's a community buffet." The laughter cut Olivia like a knife. She felt her face burn with shame. "Madame, I'm going to ask you to leave," the guard said, already holding her elbow. Olivia still tried. "Please, it's for my sister. I just need to. But the words died when she heard a deep voice behind her, a voice that paralyzed everyone around. "What's going on here?" The crowd parted, and there he was, Julian Blackwood. Impeccable black suit, a posture that made it seem as if even the air stopped to obey his command. Grey eyes, icy, sweeping the scene until they landed on her, Olivia, a stranger whom, at that instant, he vaguely remembered. "She is my wife," he said, without blinking, each syllable like an iron sentence. Silence swallowed the hall. The malicious laughter ceased. Brenda turned pale. The security guard released Olivia as if he'd been burned. She froze. Wife, what was? Julian Blackwood, the owner of Blackwood Holdings, the man behind that gala doing. Why was he defending her like this? Julian advanced, his expensive cologne mixing with the cold scent of polished marble. Problem solved. He asked the receptionist, who stammered a yes, "Sir," before retreating. He lightly touched Olivia's back, a firm, protective gesture. "Come," he murmured, just for her. "Trust me for now." And, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, Olivia walked through the gleaming lobby beside him. The flashes of curiosity, the scandalized stares, none of it mattered, not as long as she felt that warm, strong touch that said, "I am with you." She had no idea where that lie would lead her. She only knew that, for the first time, she was not alone. Julian led Olivia through silent corridors, away from the buzz of the ballroom. They passed imposing doors, marble floors echoing their footsteps. They entered a discreet lounge, cream walls, huge windows displaying Manhattan lit up beneath the night, leather armchairs, a modern fireplace glowing. It was a refuge for the powerful to hide from the spotlights. Olivia felt her heart pound. Her sweaty hands clutched the worn little bag where she kept the page with Chloe's information. All of this was unreal. Julian closed the door with a soft click. For an instant, only the crackle of the fireplace filled the space between them. He observed her not as a CEO, not as a man accustomed to having everything under control, but as someone who saw something others didn't. "Why were you out there, alone, begging to get in?" His voice was calm, but there was a hint of curiosity. Perhaps memory, something restless behind his grey eyes. Olivia took a deep breath. She couldn't hide it anymore. "It's my sister, Chloe. She is on the waiting list for a kidney transplant. The health plan doesn't cover everything. I work mornings at a cafe. I teach at night, but it's not enough. I heard people who could help would be here, so my friend gave me the invitation. I needed to try." She lifted her face. Tears threatened to well up, but her voice didn't tremble. Julian didn't say anything immediately. His gaze was so intense that Olivia felt like looking away, but she didn't. Instead, she opened her worn bag, took out the folded sheet, crumpled from hours of anxiety. "I made this. It's all I had. I wanted to give it to someone, ... to whoever could." He approached, took the paper from her hands. carefully. He read in silence. As the seconds passed, Olivia saw something change in his cold features. His jaw relaxed. His brows softened. The Iron CEO seemed to disappear, leaving only a man. Julian raised his eyes to her. "You don't remember me, do you?" She blinked, confused. Then, vaguely, a memory. 2 years earlier, a park, a small boy, screaming, choking, and Olivia kneeling on the grass, injecting adrenaline with trembling hands, saving his life. "Noah," she whispered, "the little boy was your son." Julian nodded, a slight sad smile crossing his lips. "You vanished before I could thank you. I spent months trying to find you. Now, 2 years later, you appear like this, trying to save someone else." Olivia laughed, an embarrassed laugh, almost a sob. She felt her head spin. "I didn't mean to invade anything, ... I just ... Julian stepped forward. The distance between them shrank to almost nothing. The warmth of the fireplace, his warmth. "You saved my son, Olivia. I have no words for it. And now you're going to save your sister. I'll help. I'll cover everything." She shook her head, raising her hands as if blocking an avalanche. "No. I didn't want charity. Just a chance. A job, a way to do it myself." Julian sighed, and for the first time truly smiled. A smile that never appeared on any magazine cover. "Then do this. Noah needs someone, a nanny, someone he trusts. He talks about you to this day. And I trust him more than any adult on this planet." He extended his hand, palm open, an invisible contract. "Come work for me. Live in the guest house on our property. Take care of him. Take care of yourself. And everything else ... We'll sort it out together." Olivia stood motionless, looking at his outstretched hand, the flames reflecting in his grey eyes. In her chest, fear danced alongside something new. Dangerous, beautiful, hope. Slowly, as if touching a secret, she placed her hand in his. In that instant, she knew she was accepting much more than a job. She was accepting entry into Julian Blackwood's world that, ironically, began with a lie, but which, perhaps, would end in the purest truth. The guest house on the Blackwood property in Greenwich looked like something out of a story Olivia only knew from books borrowed from the community library. A light stone chalet, immense windows letting the morning light pour into the rooms. A brick fireplace, shelves with hardcover books, soft rugs under bare feet. On the first morning, Olivia woke before her alarm, her heart heavy with uncertainty, but enveloped by a peace she hadn't known in years. No sounds of sirens, no creak of the old plumbing from her Brooklyn apartment. Just the rustle of leaves outside, the soft sound of birds in the garden. She got up, put on her jacket, one of the few she had, a simple knit, and went for a walk to the main house. With each step, she took a deep breath, trying to believe that all of this was real. Noah, the little boy she had saved 2 years earlier, ran to meet her as soon as he saw her in the entrance hall. He wore a blue t-shirt, his blonde curls still damp from his bath. "Olivia, you're here. You really came." He grabbed her waist, as if to make sure she wouldn't disappear again. Olivia crouched down, stifling a laugh at his excited little face. "I promised, didn't I? Now I'm not going anywhere." He pulled away a little, took her hand and dragged her into the living room, completely ignoring the discreetly observing staff. Here, Noah was king and Olivia, his confidant, shield, accomplice. In adventures. At first, Julian observed everything from a distance, from behind the marble columns, or standing at his office door, holding reports he clearly wasn't reading. He saw Noah laugh loudly in a way he hadn't laughed since the divorce. He saw Olivia get down on the floor to color dinosaurs, build forts with cushions, invent stories that made the boy laugh until he sobbed one evening. As he passed down the hallway, Julian stopped at the living room door. Olivia was on the sofa, with Noah asleep on her lap, the boy's head resting on her chest. She was gently stroking his curls, murmuring a song so soft that the sound seemed to shimmer in the air. She looked up when she saw him. The low light from the lamp made her loose brown hair shine over her shoulders. And, in that instant, Julian didn't just see the dedicated nanny. He saw the woman who, without realizing it, was stitching together the loose pieces of the house, his and his son's. "He doesn't usually sleep like that," he said in a whisper, almost to himself. "I know," Olivia replied, smiling. "But today he said he'd dream of brave dragons." Julian let out a low chuckle, a rare sound from his lips. Olivia smiled back, shyly. A comfortable silence formed between them, filled only by Noah's peaceful breathing. He approached, carefully picked up his son so as not to wake him, but before leaving, he turned to Olivia. "Thank you." She shook her head, her cheeks flushed. "I'm just doing my job, Mr. Blackwood." But both knew it was much more than that. The next morning, Olivia found an envelope on the kitchen table in the guest house. Inside, a handwritten card with Julian's firm handwriting. "To the woman who brought laughter back to this house. It's not charity, it's gratitude and hope, Jay." With it, a debit card attached to a bank account in Chloe Reed's name. The amount was enough to cover the transplant waiting list. Olivia felt her legs weaken. Tears came before she could stop them. She sat at the table, clutching the card to her chest, whispering into the emptiness of the kitchen, "Mum, ... I did it. Chloe will live. I did it." And she knew that, from that day on, no lie could erase what they were building. The days on the Blackwood property passed like a calm river at least. For Noah, he became more talkative, more curious, less shy. It was common to hear his laughter echoing through the garden, among pruned bushes and the seemingly endless lawn. Olivia, however, always walked carefully. She carried in her heart the certainty that she was treading on ground that wasn't hers. Every meal served on fine china, every silent corridor decorated with paintings by European artists, reminded her who she was. A waitress, a daughter of immigrants who barely had a dress of her own for a ball, and, of course, the eyes of the city were wide open. The following Tuesday, everything began to unravel. Olivia was dropping Noah off at preschool when a woman stepped out of a black car parked on the sidewalk. Her high heels clicked like a sentence on the wet pavement. Red lipstick, impeccable blonde hair, icy eyes. It was Julian's ex-wife. "So it's you," the woman said, taking off her sunglasses, revealing a predatory gaze. "The new nanny, or should I say, the waitress who fooled New York's most coveted CEO." Olivia took a deep breath. Noah, distracted, kicked pebbles at the school entrance. "Excuse me, Miss Ashford? I just take care of Noah." The other woman smiled, a smile that hurt more than words. "Who do you think you're fooling?" She moved so close that Olivia could smell her expensive perfume. "Types like you pop up all the time. They think they can trade an apron for a diamond ring. But I'm Serena Ashford, darling. And I'm going to pull you out of here like a weed from a garden." Olivia swallowed hard. She wanted to reply, to scream, but Noah's little hand squeezed hers. "Auntie Olivia, can we go in?" he asked, oblivious to the venom in the air. Olivia smiled at him, but her voice came out trembling. "Of course, champ, let's go." As she walked, she felt her back burn under Serena's gaze. That night, everything worsened. On Olivia's phone, a social media notification. A photo of her at the gala next to Julian, under the title, "Waitress Conquers Blackwood, Farce or True Love." The comments were cruel. They called her a gold digger, a social climber, an opportunist. She dropped her phone on the bed. Her chest felt too small to contain the shame, the fear, the anger. Outside, she saw Julian in his study, pacing back and forth, arguing with someone on the phone. His voice was firm, laden with fury. "I don't care what the board wants. Bury this story, or I single quotes, LL. When the door opened, Julian found her standing in the hallway, her eyes red. "Did you hear?" he asked, his voice softening immediately. Olivia nodded, her throat tight. I shouldn't be here. This is destroying your reputation. You, Noah, I need to leave." He took a step forward. She retreated. "Olivia, no. You're not going anywhere." But she shook her head, her hands trembling. "I'm a problem, a stain. Your ex is right. I'm just a waitress who crashed a party." Julian held her face in his hands, slowly, gently, but with a firmness that disarmed any defense. "You're the woman who saved my son, the woman who made Noah smile again, and who, damn it, did that to me too." His voice wavered, just for a second. "I'm not letting you run away. Not again." She bit her lip, her face so close she could smell him, a mix of coffee, rain, and something warm, comforting. "I don't know how to stay here. I don't know how to be one of you." "Then don't be. Just be you. That's all I want." But before any reply was given, Olivia slowly pulled away, her eyes tearful. "I'm sorry, Julian. I need to protect you, Noah. I can't be the reason you get hurt." That night, as the mansion slept, Olivia packed her old backpack. She put away the bank card, with the money for the transplant paid by her, now that she received a fair salary. She left a simple note on the desk. "Thank you for everything, for giving me a family, even if for a short time. I will never forget. Take good care of Noah, and of yourself." Olivia, she left through the back door, breathing the cold Greenwich air in her heart, a love she never had the courage to say out loud. Brooklyn, 2 weeks later, Olivia was back at Rose's calf. Her old apron hung loosely at her waist, stained with coffee and grease as before. She tried to smile at customers, balanced trays, ignored the whispers of her co-workers who commented, in hushed tones, about the rumor. The ex-nanny who thought she could become mistress of the castle. At home, Chloe was well, finally on the transplant list, with a reputable hospital paid for with what Olivia had saved. This was her only peace. But at night, in her cramped room, it was impossible not to remember Julian's eyes, the smell of fresh coffee in the mansion kitchen, Noah's laughter in the garden. It was like waking from a warm dream to an endless winter. That Thursday, a storm fell over New York. The sky was a grey curtain, torn by thunder. In the middle of her shift, the door of Rose's calf burst open with a gust of wind and rain. A tall silhouette, in a dark overcoat, entered dripping wet, breathing heavily. For a second, Olivia didn't recognize him, but when he pulled down his hood, the world seemed to shrink to fit into Julian Blackwood's blue eyes. The cafe fell silent. Some cell phones subtly emerged, taking pictures. Olivia stood motionless, a steaming coffee mug trembling in her hand. Julian advanced without ceremony, fearless of glances. He stopped in front of her, mere inches away. "Why did you run away?" His voice was low, thick with both hurt and tenderness. Olivia swallowed hard, but the words came out as an embarrassed whisper. "Because I'm a stain on your life. I didn't want to destroy everything." Julian chuckled a low, almost hoarse laugh, as if it wasn't enough to contain the whirlwind inside him. "You didn't destroy anything, Olivia. You were the only breath of true life I've had in years." He looked her up and down, her dirty apron, her dark circles under her eyes, the smell of stale coffee, and even so, she was all he wanted. The silence of the cafe was punctuated by the ticking of rain hitting the glass. Julian took a deep breath, then raised his voice, as if speaking to the whole world. "I lied that night at the gala. I lied saying you were my wife. But it wasn't a lie to me, it was a plea." He swallowed his own words, took a step forward. "Come home with me, Olivia. To me, to Noah. We are your family. You are our home." Her hands trembled. The world seemed to melt around them. Through tears, she shook her head, lacking the courage to believe. What about Serena, the press, the company board? He smiled, a slow, determined smile, the same as the CEO who never loses. "Leave them to me. I've faced lions for far less. For you, I'll face the world." Olivia dropped the mug that almost fell from the tray. His hand reached for hers first, warm, real, as if it were the anchor she had always needed. She whispered, defeated, "I missed you so much, ... He rested his forehead against hers, ignoring the breathless audience. "Me too. Come home." And there, between the smell of burnt coffee and the sound of the storm, Olivia knew she no longer had to fight alone. A few months later, on a spring Sunday, the Blackwood property garden was alive with flowers and laughter. Noah ran across the lawn, chasing butterflies with a small plastic jar. Julian watched, sitting on the porch, holding a cup of tea, a habit he picked up from her. Olivia appeared at the door, laughing, her hair casually tied back, wearing a light cotton dress. When Julian saw her, he rose, walked to her, and pulled her close. "You know it still feels like a dream, right?" he murmured, kissing her forehead. She smiled, her eyes shining as if they held all the sun in the world. "It's not a dream, Julian. It's just ... life, and it's ours." Noah shouted from the back of the garden, "Daddy, Auntie Olivia. Come play." Olivia intertwined her fingers with his. Together, they walked to the boy, to the laughter, to everything they had promised to build. And if anyone ever asked Julian, Blackwood would have only one answer. "Yes, I lied that night. But it was the most beautiful lie of my life." Did you feel the power of this story? Like this video, comment below what you thought, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive more emotional stories like this. See you in the next video.